Hi. Another day of waking up too early because my mind was racing with ideas for history. I'm not. Uh, I wish that weren't the case. I'm working on, um, you know, relaxing better so that I can actually get a really good night of sleep and then be productive. It's a work in progress. Um, Let me just talk about the things that I've been thinking about. I know I shouldn't worry about competitors, but um, recently there there's been this open source project that I've been following. It seems very interesting. It's called Promnesia. Um, I wish them all the best, and definitely it's great that it's there. And I wouldn't say competitor in the sense that Nietzsche does exactly what I want history to do, but there is some overlap, right? And Anyway, it's just interesting to think about how you react to hearing about things that are new. In the long run, it shouldn't matter, but it's just interesting. It's just interesting how um, I obviously know about the highs and lows, but it's even when you know that you shouldn't get sucked into these kinds of thinking of like, oh, what does this mean? I'll admit, it's a bit, it's easy to get sucked into that kind of like, okay, right? Like, how does this fit into what my plans are? But the funny thing is that shouldn't matter at all, because you, you think about that a lot because you are hyper focused on this problem domain. The general people who look at various products probably view it differently. They're trying to solve a problem for themselves, and they go with the tool that helps them the most. And I am confident I can make history into a product that's really fun to use. I think it already is to some extent, and it's just an iterative process. That's the first thing, and then the second thing is it's even when I started this, there were like if you look at I think the website name is alternatives.net or something like that, where they list the alternatives. So one aspect of history is taking notes, if you will, not in the general sense of Evernote in Notion, where you are responsible for putting in all the information. But there is that knowledge-based aspect of it. And if you look at the competitors for Evernote, it goes on for 25 pages, pages and pages of apps that do similar things. So it shouldn't, another person having similar ideas at the moment shouldn't be a big deal. On a related note, so that the app that I talked about is it runs locally, and History is a web app with your data persisted to the cloud, and sometimes I get questions from users if History can be completely offline with no data sent to the cloud. I think that's where the what it does now and what it would do in the near future differs from these other product roadmaps that people have for other products that are in the similar space. what I mean is, I have a ton of things planned that cannot be done if history were completely locally hosted app. Number one of that would be this idea of information augmentation, which is you. Okay, let me take a step back and explain it in a probably different way. Google, if you search Google, the top, like I was mentioning earlier, the top results are overrun with SEO heavy websites, if you will, right? Like that's the target, to rank for Google, and then the old websites that didn't care about that and had a lot of cool information are not there anymore, right? And history could presumably surface those websites that don't care about SEO, but the content there is relevant to the things that you've looked at. So I'm working on that sort of ranking for websites that have really good content, but are made by people, not companies, because they have something interesting to say, and they're not really optimizing for ad revenue, things like that, right? So features like this cannot be done if history were to be completely local. But I understand the desire. So anyway, just some thoughts on that. I let's talk soon about things that we've talked about today.